Shabbat Shalom, beautiful Pnei Or Chevra and extended family far and wide. Parshat VaYigash. And the sons of Yisrael come down to Mitzrayim, bow down before Yosef. Yosef sees them. Oh no, it's them. Our Parsha now opens with one of the most heart-wrenching, poignant soliloquies in Torah, as Yehuda steps forward to pour out his heart in an impassioned plea to save Benjamin, the youngest brother, the remaining beloved son of their aged father. What is happening? We re-enter the saga of Yosef and his brothers at a moment when all seems lost. The reasonable plan of buying food from Mitzrayim has ended up with Benjamin arrested, Yehuda's pledge to return him to their father in ruins, the terrified, guilty brothers trapped and powerless, and the family clan at risk of insurmountable crisis. Yosef, as we know, rules second only to Pharaoh. His gifts have brought him to a pinnacle of power, yet he is far from free. Though that may not be the story he prefers. He marries high. And look how he names his sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Manasseh, the one who causes forgetting, because, says Yosef, God has caused me to forget all the injustices done to me. And the second one, Ephraim, double fruit, because God made me fruitful in the land of my pain. God, says Yosef, has made me so fruitful here, that I can forget my past. I can live now. Slam a lid on all the trauma. Good luck. It works for a while. Until, oh no, it's them. His past shows up. It's like that. How he handles this is characteristic of survivor patterns, not all of which are pretty. Surging emotions, unresolved pain, long buried memories of his father's love, surface to swirl with his brother's bitter betrayal, the pit, the scorpions, the prison, the fear. He still has one full brother whom he remembers loving. And his father surely still does. Perhaps the brothers resent and despise young Benjamin too. Test that out. Frame Benjamin. He'll appear to be a thief. Make it easy for them to jettison the kid. And then he'll be safe from them, here in Mitzrayim with me. Look, it wouldn't even be their fault. And the pain this would cause Dad? Why, think about that. Give them a taste of their own medicine. See if anything has changed. Or is it same old? It can be very hard to move beyond our pain. Enter Yehuda, the brother who sold Yosef, who with a straight face held the bloody coat. Dad, look what we found. Maybe you recognize this. We hold our collective breath as Yehuda steps forward. It's his turn, his moment. Can he crack open the gates of compassion and induce a shift? His dam bursts. He pours out his heart in an impassioned plea to save Benjamin. Magnificently, offering to remain behind forever as a prisoner's slave. If only Benjamin can return to their father, lest their aged father perish in bottomless grief. This plea is one of the most poignant, heart-wrenching speeches in Torah, about which much is written. By what path of spiritual maturation did the Yehuda who sold Yosef become this man? Perhaps the death of his own sons and the episode with Tamar that forced him to look at himself in the mirror she held up for him. The text also uses some peculiar language here. VaYigash alav Yehuda. Yehuda approached him. The use of the term VaYigash, to come close, is somewhat unusual. And to whom is the word elav, to him, referring? There are commentators who propose that while it might seem reasonable choreography to see Yehuda as simply stepping forward to approach Yosef, in some ways, his soliloquy has the feel of something more. More like a spontaneous rush of passionate prayer to God than an appeal directed merely at Yosef. That he was essentially throwing everything on the line and praying out loud from his heart to God. And that perhaps in the very midst of that praying, he truly grasped what was needed of him and absorbed the magnitude of his responsibility for what was happening. His plea is so compelling that Yosef can no longer contain himself. his emotions burst. And he reveals himself to his brothers. I am Yosef. Is Dad really still alive? Ani Yosef, ha'od avichai. Is Dad really still alive? His dam bursts. They kiss. They weep. The tikkun, the repair, is not only familial. We can feel it happening inside Yehuda. Maybe that's why we call ourselves Yehudim, Judah folk, or simply Jews. And we see it in Yosef. For Yosef, this is not only the release of decades of repressed anguish, but also a next step in his own spiritual maturation. As we saw last week, his evolving inner ascent, allowing him to see in his talents and his circumstances the influence of God, not only his own might and power at work. His bor, his pit, is becoming a be'er, a flowing well. His inner withered cow is becoming healthy. He breaks down. He sobs. This is a profound healing. His heart is touched. Compassion flows. Now, do not be anguished, he calms his terrified brothers. And do not reproach yourself that you have sold me here. For it is to preserve life that God sent me ahead of you. Wow. And there is one further tikkun that we can discover, which may not be initially obvious, as we have to follow the hyperlink that takes us back to the last time we saw this word, VaYigash. VaYigash Yaakov el Yitzchak Aviv. VaYigash. And Yaakov approached Yitzchak, his father, who felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Esav. And Yaakov lied. He stole Esav's bracha, which is how we got here. Yehuda's words have stirred compassion in harsh places and reached back through time to mend a karmic gash in the fabric of relationships that was torn so long ago by their father, Yaakov's duplicity and deceit. Yosef's heart opens. His words bring reconciliation and healing. Yaakov will live to see Yosef, his son, alive and well. After 22 years, the whole family clan will be reunited. Compassion, reconciliation. It is a cosmic mending. Yet, this too will become a yirida tzorech aliyah as our family clan emigrates down to Mitzrayim, the great incubator that traps the light, tests us, and prepares us for an ascent to a yet higher destiny. Last Shabbos, we framed the bracha and challenge to us this way. Yosef learns to see God in his gifts and his purpose, not his own might and power. So may we. This Shabbos, we add a further prayer for each of us. May we each discover a loving, God-connected path towards healing trauma, whatever our role. And may our inner spiritual maturation engender the caliber of insight and humility that opens the flow of compassion, the be'er mayim chayim, the well springs of living waters. Shabbat Shalom. We enter the gate of Torah. If you are group watching at this time, this is when you hit pause to share some holy conversations. Again, as always, if any of these teachings touch your circumstances, when we call our unified Aliyah to Torah, rise in any way you wish and reach towards Torah. We enter the gate of Torah. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah li'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato, Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai iti, Uneramema.
Shemo Yachdav.
Once again, beautiful friends, as we call our unified Aliyah, rise in any way you might wish and reach towards Torah.
ויעזור ויגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר אמן. הכל הבו גודל אלוהינו ותנו כבוד לתורה. נא לעמוד לתורה. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו, ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה היה
אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קרבנו לעבודתו ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. וימצא הגביע באמתחת בנימין. Joseph's goblet is found in Binyamin's saddlebags. ויבוא יהודה ואחיו בית יוסף. Yehuda and the brothers come back to Yosef's palace. Vehu odenu, Sham, Yosef is waiting for them. Vayiplu lefanav arza, vayomer lahem Yosef. Ma hama'aseh hazeh asher asitem, halo yidatem ki nachesh yenachesh asher kamoni. Yosef says, what do you think you're doing? Don't you know that I have snake divining powers? I have psychic vision. I know everything. Vayomer Yehuda, ma nomar ladoni, ma nedaber u'ma nitztadak. Ha'elohim matzat avon avodecha, hinenu avodim ladoni. Yehuda says, what could we say to my Lord? Where could we justify this? Elohim, we now realize, has uncovered original sin of your servants. So now we understand we will stay here. We will be your slaves. Yosef answers, no, forget it. No, I wouldn't do that. The one who took the goblet will stay here as my slave. The rest of you, go in shalom back to your father. VaYigash elav Yehuda. Now Yehuda steps up, saying, if my Lord please, may I say a few words to my Lord, and let you not become angry, because we understand that you are just like Pharaoh. Adoni sha'al et avadav lemor, hayesh lachem avo ach. My Lord asked if we have a father or possibly another brother, and we explained that there is a younger brother with our aged family, with our aged father who stays with him, who did not come. My Lord insisted that he come back with us next time for us to get food for our families. We explained that the boy could not leave his father. My Lord insisted, so we brought him back with us. And here we are. And now, if I go back to my father without the boy, he will die a dark, terrible, anguished death. V'hayakir oto ki ein hana'ar v'met v'horido avodecha et sevat avdecha avinu b'yagon she'olah. So now, if this were to happen, I can't do this. I can't see this evil happening to my father. So, now, take me. I'll be your slave. V'hana'ar, let the boy go back to his father, because I can't do otherwise. V'lo yachol Yosef lehitapak. L'chol hanitzavim alav vayikra, hotziu kol ish me'alai. V'lo amad ish ito behitvada Yosef el echav. Yosef cracks. He can't carry on the charade anymore. He calls out, "Everyone out of the palace!" Nobody else is there when he makes himself known to his brothers. And he lets it all out in a screaming, howling, weeping, vayitein et kolo b'vechi. All Mitzrayim could hear it. The palace of Pharaoh could hear him weeping. Vayomer Yosef el echav, Ani Yosef, ha'od avichai. Yosef says to his brothers, "I'm Yosef, is Dad still alive?" The brothers couldn't say anything. They cringed away from him, freaked out. He says, "Come close to me." And they come close. He shows them his circumcision and says, "Ani Yosef. I am actually Yosef, your brother. The one you sold me down here to Mitzrayim. So now, don't be sad. Don't let it feel bad in your eyes. Ki mechartem oti, that you sold me down here. Ki lemichya shelachani Elohim lifnechem. To help the family survive, Elohim sent me before you. Because we're 2 years into a famine and there's 5 more to go. Ve'ata lo atem shalachtem oti hena ki ha-Elohim. So you didn't send me here. Elohim did it through you. Vaysimeni le'av leFaro ule'adon lechol beito moshel bechol eretz Mitzrayim. And made me the Lord of Mitzrayim under Pharaoh. I control everything in the whole country. Now hurry and go back to our father and tell him all the great stuff I've been doing. והכל נשמע בית פרעה לאמור, באו אחי יוסף, ויטב בעיני פרעה ובעיני עבדיו. And the announcement was made in the palace of Pharaoh to the whole court. Brothers of Yosef have come. And they all said, "Wonderful." They were delighted. Yosef, our hero, has brothers. Pharaoh orders Yosef to order his brothers. Go back and collect your families and everything you need and your father and come here. Vayikukhu et avichem v'et batechem, and come to me, because you will hear now receive the best kol tuv eretz Mitzrayim. Ve'ichlu et chelef ha'aretz, you will eat the fat of the land. Vayishlach et echav, vayelechu. Yosef sends his brothers, saying, don't tarry on the road. Vayalu Mitzrayim, va'ayavo eretz Canaan el Yaakov avihem. And they go up out of Mitzrayim back to Canaan, to Yaakov their father, loaded down with a wagon train of fine, beautiful things of Mitzrayim and loads of food. Vayagidu lo lemor, and they tell Yaakov, saying, Od Yosef chai, v'chihu moshel b'kol erev Mitzrayim. Guess what? Yosef is alive, and he's the boss of all of the land Mitzrayim. Vayafag libo, ki lo hemin lachem. His heart stops. He doesn't believe them. So, after they do CPR, Vaydabru elav et kol divrei Yosef asher diber aleihem, vayad et hagalot asher shalach Yosef laseit oto, vatechi ruach Yaakov avihem. So they recount the entire story to their father, and they show him the wagon train loaded with fine goods. And the spirit of Yaakov comes back alive. Vayomer Yisrael. Yisrael says, Rav, wow, Rav, amazing, Rav, almost too much to believe. Od Yosef beni chai, my son Yosef, after 22 years, is alive. My son, my spiritual inheritance lives. El chava erenu b'terem amut. I'm going to go see him before I die. Vayisa Yisrael b'chol asher lo, vayavo be'er hashava, vayizbach zvachim lelohei aviv Yitzchak. Yisrael takes all of his wherewithal, goes to Be'er Shava to offer a sacrifice to the God of his father, Yitzchak. Vayomer Elohim le Yisrael b'marot halayla. Elohim comes to Yisrael in a night vision, saying, Yaakov, Yaakov. And he says, I'm here. Vayomer Anochi ha'el Elohei avicha. Al tira merda Mitzrayim ki goy gadol asimenu sham. Do not be afraid of going down to Mitzrayim, because there I will make you a great nation. Anochi ered im ha-Mitzrayima, ve'anochi ale gam alo, ve'Yosef yashit yado al enecha. I'll go down there with you, and I will absolutely bring you back up eventually. And Yosef will be the one who closes your eyes when you die. Vayakam Yaakov mi Be'er Sheva. Yaakov gets up out of Beersheba. Vayisu b'nei Yisrael et Yaakov avihem. The sons of Yisrael take Yaakov their father. Ve'et tapam ve'et nashehem ba'agalot asher shalach Paro Mitzrayim. The whole family, the children and the women on the wagon sent by Paro. Yaakov, all his seed, sons, daughters, grandchildren, all of the children, all of their wherewithal, all of the flocks, they all leave Eretz Canaan and go down as one family into Mitzrayim. Yaakov v'chol zaro ito, banav uvenei vanav ito, benotav uvenot banav v'chol zaro. Havi אותו מצרימה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוכה אתה השכינה
נותן התורה.
May the Holy One of Blessing, who has blessed our extraordinary family through the generations, bless everyone who has reached towards Torah this morning to honor God, to honor Shabbos, to honor Torah. That we each discover a loving God-connected path towards healing trauma. And may our inner spiritual maturation engender the caliber of insight and humility that opens the well springs of compassion. In the spirit of that blessing, we offer prayers for healing. Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, a healing of spirit, and a healing of body for ourselves and all of those whom we hold in our heart. If you're a group watching, this is a time to likewise hit pause to call out the names of all of those for whom healing prayers are offered this morning. We each bring the image of ones to whom we offer blessings of healing to our hearts. We call out the ancient words that Moshe Rabbeinu called out when Miriam, his sister, was stricken, and he prayed, Ana Elna, Rifana La, please God, please heal. And this week, as the coronavirus vaccines roll out, we pray that health and safety and resilience will increase.
Ana Elna Refana La, Ana Elna Refana La, Ana Elna Refana La, Ana Elna Refana.
One of us and for all of those whom we hold in our hearts. We stay present as the scroll is lifted.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. ישראל ואורייתא בקודשא בריחו חרו, ישראל ואורייתא בקודשא בריחו חרו. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. It's חדש, חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו,
May we each discover a God-connected path towards healing. May we each discover a God-connected path towards shalom. May insight and humility open the flow of compassion, perfection, wholeness, completion, fulfillment, and peace. Od Yavo Shalom.
Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Ulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Ulam.
Salam.
Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom. Salam. Ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz. Bayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad.
Holding in our hearts our prayers for healing, for compassion, and for peace. We offer at this time a Kaddish Yatom, a mourner's Kaddish, inviting all of those who are perhaps even now in a time of mourning or observing a yurtzeit, or who have taken upon yourself the custom of offering a Kaddish Yatom in behalf of all of those who have perished with no one to say Kaddish for them, to rise. If you're a group watching, you may likewise wish at this moment to hit pause so that you can call out the names of those for whom a mourner's Kaddish is offered this morning. Kaddish Yatom.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעולמה תברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקדושה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה פוש וחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעולמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
May the one who makes shalom wholeness, completion, fulfillment, perfection, and peace in the highest of high places. Help each one of us to walk a path of shalom. Help each one of us to become the shalom which we seek. And may there be wholeness, perfection, and peace for all of us and for all of the people and creatures of the world. Amen. We close our Torah service. Ein Keloheinu.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Moshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michoshienu, Michemalkeinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat.